Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy Gatty Crypto here. Let's just jump straight into it. And you know, this is very important where we're at now, and I hope this video finds you well and you understand what is currently happening and where this is leading to now. Before we start diving into this new Rebel station, I want to raise a few points. We currently have a huge funding issue. The funding issue being we're about to pay 1 billion LUNC out of our community pool. We've pretty much emptied the community pool's USTC to get the grant scheme up and running. The issue now is, right, we're moving to a paid business model or paid budgeting model, whichever one you want to call it, which means that they're going to more or less go, here's V23. Now this is how much we want for it. And then the community can decide we want this update. There could be someone else who puts an update out alongside it. Could be very similar, might be a little bit different. You might like that one better. It might be cheaper. You might decide to go for that one instead, right? Now ask yourself, how do we pay for these updates? How do we pay for all of this if we're about to empty our community pool of 1 billion LUNC? Well, the obvious matter of the fact is we're not. And this is a huge, and it's, I think people are lacking what this actually means. And, I've been stood all day today on a boat thinking about it and thinking, we're pretty much being led down a path as to which we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot because we just won't be able to afford funding anyway. So I'm a little bit confused with the Rebel station, especially after being moved to a paid business model, which I totally get, I totally agree with, but I just don't think moving to a Rebel station right now is a good idea because we cannot afford to even pay probably for V23. Is 350 million LUNC going to be enough to pay for that? How do we know? Because we don't know how much they're going to want for it, right? Exactly. So this raises all kinds of issues as to which we are going to be making a huge payout to loads of different developers, validators, project leaders, ambassadors, and people like that across the board. And I have no doubt there's going to be a lot of people that apply to get some of that money. But at the same time, why are we doing this if we're going to need to start paying for everything? Because we can't pay from the Oracle rewards pool, period. The reason being is the Oracle rewards pool is for validators, okay, to validate the blockchain. It's security, it's the inner treasury and inner sanctum which keeps the ship running. It keeps it afloat and it keeps it sailing. You will delegate because you'll get good rewards, right? If the rewards become really bad, what are you going to do? Undelegate and go do it somewhere else to get better APY. This raises even more concerns because there's people out there that want to burn, huge amounts like this currently as it stands. Like, we need to think about how we're actually going to pay for all this budgeting and all of everything now in the future. And, with the focus so much on the burn tax and people want to send in the seigniorage elsewhere and different stuff like that, I think we lack the understanding of exactly, we actually need to start working together as a community, as a team, as groups, and not trying to, because at the moment you've got one person who will put a proposal up, okay, that's passed, the other person's failed, they'll rework that and put it up again because they know that if that gets voted through as yes, it overrules the previous plan. In a sense, it's really silly the way that people can do this because it is decentralized down to the core. We can't stop people from doing it. We can't blacklist people. But at the same time, there needs to be that level of understanding that there's a route already laid out and to allow people to at least decide which Agora text to go through. And, we're going to get to this paid budgeting model. Everyone's going to sit there and V23 is going to land and people are like, yeah, let's do it. And then, Terra Rebel's going to be like, well, how are you going to pay us for this? You've only got 350 million in your community pool left. So we do need to sit and ask ourselves a very serious section of questions right now when it comes down to the Rebel station. From what I can gauge on any Agora text, Terra Rebels, okay, and these are words that are not been, reworked to better suit, this video or anything like that. But from what I've seen, what I've consistently seen written is that Terra rebels are A, not responsible for the blockchain, B, they over provided everything. They didn't need to provide as much as they did for free, but they did do that. The issue right now is, for me, like, we can't afford V23, but they want to move us to their own rebel station, even though they don't want any, we're not responsible for the blockchain, but move to our rebel station though. So there becomes this question, don't there, where we have to sit there and ask ourselves, is this the best move? If they're not responsible for the blockchain, why do they then expect the blockchain to move to the new rebel station? I'm very confused. And Luna is doing so well because of a simple fact that if you go to Terra, okay, them being the people who are building and really seeing things forward, they share every project. They update about their communities and what's going on. They retweet stuff, they support. They don't just look at a group of people and think, no, we don't really like you because someone doesn't actually like you, so we're just not going to deal with you anymore. They don't do that. And this becomes a huge issue. They want us to move away from TFL, but they don't want to be responsible for us. And I just don't feel like this is a good move. And this isn't me, SHITing on Terra Rebels or saying, they're bad. I just don't think this is a good move right now, especially with where we're at. And, when it comes down to bite and crunch, like, how are we going to pay for all of this? Because they're not giving us V23 for free, which is understandable. They want paying. So we're going to need to pay for Rebel Station and things like this across the... There's so many issues with this at the moment. And then, seeing the way certain things have been said recently, and I was sat there at the time thinking, you're saying about all of this too quickly and not thinking about it, and then watching that person come back later saying, I spoke too fast and things got construed. And the issue then becomes with that, you send construed information out into the communities, and then that construed information ends up getting construed more and more and more and more. So I have no doubt there's going to be a lot of angry people who are going to be sitting there going, Jay, you're so wrong. You're against Terra Rebels, but I'm just not. What I'm against is this, we're not responsible for you, but move over to all of our platforms and stuff like that and everything like that across the board, when currently we have a really good system that works. And this isn't just about moving, this is this is governance. This is a different league when you move from Terra Station to, as it stands right now, and like I said, I'm probably going to get a lot of heat from this, probably going to get a load of DMs from different people like I normally do whenever I put a video out like this, being truthfully and solely honest. It's not a good move, and I will not be moving any of my coins. I will not be moving my validate or anything like that over to a rebel station, as to which they have no responsibility for us. There's too many if, buts and coconuts with this one. And it's just not sitting right, nor is this moving to a paid business model right after you've just put a proposal out to the community to spend the majority of our community pool in a way that no one was ever going to say no to that. Why would anybody say no to that? That's just silly. And then moving to a paid business model, it all just seems like we're being led to a cliff, as to which we'll be pushed and held off the cliff and go, oh, you're going to fall if I don't pull you back. But if I pull you back, you'll be fine. So, hopefully we can get an AMA together, get some answers, and get, this community to understand how serious this is, and the fact that we are just not going to have any, funding. What happens after we've paid it's say 350 million is enough to pay for V23. We're then left with nothing in our community pool, right? Near to nothing, literally. How do we pay for our next updates? How's that happening? And all, I think you get where I'm coming from, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Just stay safe, beware of scammers, doppelgangers, anybody pretending to be me, or the Happy Catty Crypto channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Sure.